If you're watching this alone at night, don't skip, because this happened to someone just like you. I've always been a night owl, not by choice, but by necessity. My job demands late hours, bleeding into the early morning when the world is quiet and most people are asleep. The commute home is my only time for solitude. It's a long, dark stretch of highway, just me and the hum of my engine. It's a routine I've come to know well, a silent ritual that marks the end of another day. The city lights fade in my rearview mirror, replaced by the endless blacktop and the hypnotic rhythm of passing streetlights. Most nights, it's peaceful, but on some nights, the solitude feels less like peace and more like a heavy blanket of isolation. Tonight was one of those nights. The rain started around 2 in the morning. Not a downpour, but a persistent, misty drizzle that smeared the streetlights into blurry halos. The world outside my windshield became a watercolor painting of dark, wet asphalt and shifting shadows. My wipers swished back and forth, a monotonous beat against the low, unsettling hum from the car radio, which seemed to be caught between stations. I was about 20 miles from home. It's deep in the part of the drive where houses are sparse and the road is flanked by dense, dark woods. It's the kind of place that makes you push a little harder on the gas pedal, just to get through it a little faster. Then I saw it. A bus stop. One of those lonely, forgotten ones with a cracked plastic shelter and a single, flickering light that did more to create shadows than to illuminate anything. And standing under that broken light was a figure, perfectly still. It was 2:17 a.m. No buses run this late, not out here. My first instinct was to keep driving. Every horror movie I had ever seen screamed at me to lock the doors and speed up. But then, a wave of guilt washed over me. What if it was someone whose car broke down? Someone in real trouble. The city has made me cynical, but my conscience hadn't entirely withered away. Against my better judgment, I slowed the car, the tires hissing on the wet pavement. As I pulled up, I could see it was a person, their head down, shoulders hunched against the rain. Their clothes were dark and soaked through. I couldn't make out a face, just the outline of a person shrouded in shadow and rain. I rolled down the passenger window, the cool, damp air seeping into the warmth of my car. "Hey, you need a ride? It's pretty late to be out here." The figure didn't move for a long moment. I almost thought they hadn't heard me over the rain and the static on the radio. Then, slowly, they lifted their head, but still, their face was obscured by the deep shadows cast by the malfunctioning light. A low, raspy voice, barely a whisper, replied, "Yes, thank you." The back door opened with a groan, and the figure slid inside. A wave of cold, damp air flooded the car, carrying the scent of wet earth and something else. Something I couldn't quite place. I felt a shiver run down my spine that had nothing to do with the temperature. "No problem," I said, trying to sound casual as I pulled back onto the highway. "Where are you headed?" Silence. The only sounds were the wipers, the rain, and the radio, which now emitted a steady, low hum of static. I glanced in the rearview mirror. I could see the shape of my passenger in the back seat, motionless, head bowed again. The darkness in the back of the car was so absolute, it was like they were absorbing the light. "So, you live around here?" I tried again, my voice feeling loud in the sudden quiet. A few seconds passed, long enough for the question to feel awkward and unanswered. Then, the same raspy whisper. "Not far." The reply was so delayed, it was jarring. It was like talking to someone on a bad phone connection. The air in the car felt thick, heavy. I felt an undeniable sense of dread creeping up my neck. I kept my eyes fixed on the road, but my mind was racing. Who was this person? Why were they out here? Every rational explanation seemed to slip away, replaced by a primal fear. I decided to try one more time. Maybe a simple question would break this unnerving tension. "Tough night, huh? Getting caught in the rain like that?" Again, that unnerving pause. I glanced at the side mirror, just to check the blind spot, and that's when my blood ran cold. In the mirror, the reflection of the back seat was empty. I blinked, thinking my eyes were playing tricks on me, a trick of the light and the rain. I looked again, my heart starting to pound against my ribs. The seat was empty. The reflection showed nothing but the wet upholstery. My head snapped back to the rearview mirror inside the car. The figure was still there, motionless, a dark shape in the corner of my eye. My breath caught in my throat. How is that possible? A reflection can't just disappear. I tried to reason with myself. Maybe it was the angle, the strange lighting, the rain distorting the image. But I knew what I saw, or rather, what I didn't see. The heartbeat in my ears grew louder, drowning out the sound of the rain. The static on the radio crackled and hissed, as if it was trying to say something. Gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white. I wanted to floor it, to get wherever this person was going as fast as humanly possible, okay? I didn't dare look back again. It's the feeling of being watched, of sharing this small space with something unnatural, was suffocating. Then, it happened. The engine sputtered. Car lurched once, twice, and then died. The headlights cut out, plunging us into almost total darkness. The dashboard lights flickered and went out. Silence. Complete, absolute silence. The rain had stopped. Okay. The radio was dead. Okay. We were coasting to a stop in the middle of the highway, miles from anywhere. My mind went blank with panic. This can't be happening. I turned in my seat, my voice trembling. I don't know what happened. The car I stopped. The back seat was empty, but that wasn't the scariest part. The seatbelt was still buckled, and the seat, right where the figure had been sitting, was soaked. A dark, wet patch on the fabric. The door hadn't opened. I hadn't heard a thing. They were just gone. I sat there for what felt like an eternity, frozen, staring at that empty, wet seat. Finally, a car approached from behind, its headlights a welcome sight in the oppressive darkness. It was a police car. The officer helped me get my car started against some kind of freak electrical failure, he said. He asked if I was okay, said I looked like I had seen a ghost. I just nodded, unable to speak. I drove the rest of the way home in a daze, the silence in my car now more terrifying than any noise. The next morning, I was scrolling through the local news on my phone, my coffee untouched. And then I saw the headline. Local man found dead on Highway 2 AM police, suspect hit and run. My heart stopped. The article included a photo. It was the same stretch of road. The time of death was estimated to be around 2 AM. I realized with a sickening certainty that I had picked up the victim. He just hadn't known he was dead yet, okay? And now, every time I drive that highway at night, okay, I can't help but look at the empty passenger seat, and I never, ever stop for anyone